Terence Bud Crawford looks like he is aiming at, not intentionally, but through a series of unfortunate events, right at Jaron Boots Ennis, as two pieces of news break that tell you, Bud, you ain't got a lot of choices. So let's make greatness happen. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where there is news around Errol Spence Jr. and his next fight that he is seeking. Also, Jaron Boots Ennis, the IBF champion, and his freedom, and the inevitable effect that those two things will have on Terence Crawford, who is not going to get the fights that he wanted to fight. However, has a very major opportunity right in front of him to do something very, very significant in the sport of boxing, which is become a 3-time undisputed champion. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really makes a big, big difference to the channel. And thank you, Matty Yo, for your continued support for the channel, sir. You are the absolute best. And thank you to King supporter David Williams, and rest in peace, John Bowie. And shout out to everybody else that chops it up with me on a daily basis about these boxing topics. But let's get into this. So first and foremost, Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu have both confirmed that they are interested in fighting each other next. Errol Spence Jr. took to Twitter and said, I am going to be that I am going to be at the fight this weekend, which will be the fight between Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu. Now, I want to say before I get into that particular, what happens after that fight, and let you know that I am fully aware that that is not a gimme for Tim Tszyu to fight Sebastian Fundora. That is not a gimme at all. Sebastian Fundora is a very good fighter. He's a huge 154-pounder, like the biggest 154-pounder that I've ever seen in my life. At 6'5", I don't know what he rehydrates to. I have no idea how that dude is making 154 pounds. But whatever the case is, man, he's just very, very long. And he's a very good fighter. And this is a can't miss fight as far as the excitement and the fight goes. And actually the fight before that, which is the Rolly Romero fight against Isaac Cruz, same thing, can't miss fight. So I know that that fight with Tim Tszyu and Fundora can go either way. However, Errol said that he wants the winner of that fight, which would be the unified WBC and WBO champion. Now, Tim Tszyu's manager said that in order to get a fight with Errol Spence Jr., they don't have a problem dropping that WBO belt. So, hey, man, looks like an in-house PBC fight is on deck for those guys, which does what? It eliminates the opportunity for Terence Crawford to fight Tim Tszyu like Terence Crawford said he wanted to when he petitioned the WBO to because he was a WBO super champion to become the mandatory. It seems as if those guys are going to tell the WBO, hey man, good luck, see you later, which means that, you know, Terence Crawford can be free to move up and fight for a vacant WBO belt, but who's going to want to fight Terence Crawford for a vacant WBO belt? Right? And not anybody over there at the PBC. I don't know who Matchroom has. I don't know who Top Rank would have. And Top Rank says they don't want to do business with Terence Crawford. So, you know, they're not about to hand out Xander Zayas to him. So what's his options there? Not a lot, which points you to Weir, the new free agent, the new promotional free agent who is more than likely an Al Heyman fighter now, I would suspect, at least if not in actual agreement, but in all practicality, Jaron Boots Ennis, who basically won his came to a settlement with Boxing Now, the promotional company that was owned by Cameron Duncan, his former promoter, former manager, and it was his manager originally, then became his promoter. So he's out of that. And he is still negotiating with Cody Crowley, but Cody Crowley acts like Cody Crowley don't want no smoke with him. For one reason or another, keeps delaying. It looks like, hey, man, if Terence Crawford can't get these fights at 154, that fight with Jaron Boots Ennis is there, and that's a huge fight. That's a very, very interesting fight. Now, the only thing that I would say about that is it looks like Terence Crawford had been planning to move to 154, planning to move to 160 or 168. So he's let over the last, since July, has let his body get very, very big. You can see it in some of the pictures that he's taken. It may be difficult at this point for him to move down, but hey, man, he's kept the belts. He didn't. As a matter of fact, the WBO said he could keep his belt while he's waiting for the fight to be ordered or to be made with Tim Tszyu. So, or maybe there's a possibility that Jon Inis could move. No, actually, I don't even think Jon Inis could move up and fight for the WBO title at 154 pounds. But that right there may really be, the only holdup that I see to that fight. But to me, it looks like the economics of boxing is putting Terence Crawford in a situation where he's going to have to do something spectacular. And I think he definitely has the ability to do that, which is to get his undisputed title back at 147 pounds. But, Terence Crawford, at least from the outside looking in, can be a fairly stubborn fella. And if he says he doesn't want to do something, it's going to take hell. It's going to take all kind of whatever to get him to change his mind and get him to fight the guy. But I would love to see that fight. Do I think it's going to happen next? Probably not. Terence Crawford is sitting on a nice wad of cash. He will from that fight with Errol Spence Jr., he will probably take his time. And Jaron Ennis is probably going to find another fight on that date. Somebody is going to fight him for that IBF title, even if it's not Cody Crowley. So Jaron Ennis will get himself another fight in, and that fight may take place towards the end of the year. Otherwise, Terence Crawford will, have to wait until I don't know when it would be, because if Errol Spence Jr. fights Tim Tszyu, that fight would probably not take place until, what do they fight in March or April, May, June, July? So July, August time frame. So that fight may not take, and if say Errol Spence Jr. wins it, that fight probably wouldn't take place until the next year. If Tim Tszyu gets that fight, Tim Tszyu probably still won't fight him. They'll find somebody else for Tim Tszyu to fight, because again, I don't think that they're looking to feed Terence Crawford Tim Tszyu, because those guys have a growing commodity in that fighter. And just like I told you this was going to happen, it's happening. Errol Spence Jr. is in the lead to get that fight. And it seems like maybe the WBO and Terence Crawford knew that when they tried to force that super champion on Tim Tszyu. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.